Good.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the disability meeting for October 2018. Please make your introductions for the record.
Stephanie Zimberg, Representative for Police Commissioner O'Neill.
John Dorsett, designee for control of Scott Stream.
Cynthia Collins, designee for Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Phil Dukes, designee for Finance Commissioner Jacques Vihas.
Brian Berge, Law Department, by invitation.
Amy Cassidy, Law Department, by invitation.
Joe Alejandro, designee for Patrick Lynch, John Puglisi, Mubarak Abdul-Jabbar.
Chris McGrath, PBA, by invitation.
Juan Zubizarreta, PBA, trustee.
Vincent Guida, SBA, designee for Ed Mullins.
Nick Safuni, present by invitation as counsel, SBA, LBA, CEA.
Lou Turco, LBA. Kenny Sparks, DEA, designee for Mike Palladino.
Karen Paxtis, DEA, by invitation. Sherry Chansley, actually present by invitation.
Kevin Holloran, Police Pension Fund, by invitation.
And medical division by invitation.
Diane Carr, Police Pension.
Also, Schroeder Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Keith Snow, Office of the Actuary, present by invitation.
Stanley Thomas, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Mary Young, Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Ezra Tripp, Police Pension Fund by invitation.
Nancy Young, Pension Fund, present by invitation. Ella Soroka, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Lisa Garcia, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
John Flynn, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Artie Williams, DEA, present by invitation.
Okay, I would also like to note that this is the first meeting for Juan Zubizarreta, who has been chosen by our board to be chairman of the board and will be working closely with me throughout the year.
Who was that?
Is that the common spelling?
Only spell it one way.
AKA amongst friends, Zuby Works. Zuby Works. All right, so we ready on the record? Okay. All right, on page 1, to confirm the next meeting date, Wednesday, November 14, 2018. Pages 2 through 8.
2 through 10. Nothing of a controversial nature. So move, Joe.
2 through 10, so move, thank you. All right. No page, but we have a presentation for CEM benchmarking.
Okay, I'll turn that over to John. John, if you could just
Sure.
put them on the line.
So on the line, we have CEM benchmarking. Alan Torrance is going to present, and he's going to be presenting the slides that you have up here in front of you, and I'm just going to run the slides for him. Alan, are you on the line?
I am. Good morning, everybody. I'm joined by Brenda, who is the manager of pension admin here at CEM and has been working closely with John to get the presentation together. First of all, because we're talking over a telephone, is the sound quality okay?
Yes.
Good, thank you.
Hold on, some of us are checking hearing aids. Hold on. Okay, good enough.
Okay, thank you very much. We're presenting the New York City Police Pension Fund Pension Administration benchmarking results. Importantly is the date. It is for the fiscal year June 30 to 2017. So that is 1st of July 2016 to 30th of June 2017. So we need to cast our mind back.
We don't. We can get them to you after.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Because of the sound quality, if it's okay, I'm going to make a suggestion that I run through the presentation in about 10 minutes or so, and all questions be asked at the end of the presentation, just because if I'm talking and you're talking at the same time, it's a little difficult. Is that acceptable?
Yes. Sounds good.
Okay, good. Just as a bit of background, what we do, we are CEM benchmarking. That originally stood for cost effectiveness measurement. We are a benchmarking company. We benchmark on the investment side and we benchmark on the administration side. Some of you may have seen me when I presented on the investment side a while ago. Today we're focusing on the administration side. We send an annual survey out to funds. And we collect detailed data on your costs and services. We clean that data as best we can because we're collecting data for 80 to 90 funds, around 50 in the United States and the rest from around the world. We'll look at that in a minute. What we're trying to do is collect a bowl of fruit and turn it into an apples-to-apples comparison. We understand that your fund is unique. We understand that you have your own structure, history, and challenges, as do all funds out there. What we're trying to do is find some comparable common ground that will enable you, your management, and as a board to make to get some good information and therefore be able to make better decisions. Turning to the next page. Quickly, what's important from this is a little bit about our company. That's a picture of Bay Street, Toronto. We're based in Toronto. We're 32 people. All we do is pension fund benchmarking. We are not a consultant. We collect the data, we present the data, and that's what we do. We work with about 350 organizations around the world. We do not manage money, we do not consult. What's important here is the information is kept confidential. And we're kind of known as the global experts in this field. Next page, please. So what do our clients get from this, and hopefully what will you get from this? First of all, we want you to better understand your costs and your services in terms of range and depth, your services in terms of quality and productivity, your costs in terms of what are you spending and what are you getting for that. And hopefully the analysis will allow you to appreciate where you're doing things well and understands where you've got room for improvement. Our service also includes a peer intelligence network, which allows your management staff to get online and communicate with other funds. This has recently been revamped and is working very well. We do best practice reviews and insights which have been sent to your staff. And we also have an annual pension administration benchmarking conference, which is each May in the United States, and that proves to be very useful to our clients as well. In terms of the numbers that we provide to them, performance measurement scorecard. A lot of our clients, some of them have been with us for 18 years, look at this to measure trends over time for their own service scores, look at their own costs, but also comparatively to see what others are doing as the world moves on, especially in and around internet, applications, et cetera, et cetera. So that's hopefully some of the benefits you'll get from today. Next slide, please. Okay, so here's a quick look at just a very quick look at the funds we work with, primarily in the United States. I'm very pleased to see so many New York City funds down the bottom left-hand side. We've been working with New York City teachers for quite some time, but the other funds have just come on in the last couple of years, and that's great. The smallest fund would be Sonoma County. They come in at around 8,500, 9,000 members, and I think the largest would be probably CalPERS, coming in a couple of 100,000 members. So by looking at all of these, we can understand economies of scale. We can do regression analysis, and that you'll see some of those numbers coming forward. We also work in Canada, UK, Scandinavia, and the Netherlands. What's important, though, is to come up with a peer group of funds around your size. Next slide, please. And this is the group that we have chosen for you. It's bookmarked either end with New York City BERS and New York City Teachers. We wanted to get them in the peer group. And you can see where what we're trying to do is get your fund at 86,000 members in the middle of the group, because all the research we've been doing for the last 18 years on administration and the last 25 on investments points to the fact that size is a very big factor of cost and drive costs a lot, and when we're looking at economies of scale today. There are 2 Canadian funds there. Fear not, they're doing the same thing as you. We do convert the currency at a purchasing power parity, not an exchange rate, and we've found that through the years that has worked very well and allows us to look at apples-to-apples comparisons. Next slide, please. So let's turn to costs, and then we're going to look at service. Your total pension administration cost was $207 per active member and annuitant. We look at it per member and annuitant. You can see the chart there. You're $41 above the average of $166. The total cost of $17.8 million differs to your CAFA because it is not including loans or disabilities. But what's important is looking at the chart, there are kind of 6 funds that are grouped together, then 3, and then 3 more that are a little more expensive, and you're in the middle group there. Total cost to CEM is not something that we spend a lot of time on, because really what we want to break it down is understanding what you're spending your money on and kind of a cost attribution. So turning to the next page, we're going to break that down for you. Okay, so reasons why your total cost was above peer average. Let me just explain what's in front of you to start with. First of all, A is a comparison of your full-time equivalent employees to serve the members, and we do that in terms of an FTE per 10,000 members. So it's an FTE to member ratio. Your 12.6 to 10.4 means the impact is $16. It includes things like workload, transaction volumes would go into that, but also kind of what we put under the label of productivity. And productivity is definitely influenced by your IT systems, your processes, and your service levels. And that all figures into the FTE per 10,000 members. The second is of note, given the $22 number on the right-hand side, and this is your cost environment. It's what you're paying in terms of salaries and benefits, and importantly, building expenses. We're going to look at another chart after this to look at your cost environment. New York City and New York State, New York City especially, and California tend to be 2 of the more expensive cost environments. Also, safety, police and fire, and et cetera, tend to be more complex as funds. And Brenda's nodding her head next to me here. I believe you have tiers 2, 3 original, 3 revised, 3 enhanced. Some of your pension payment options are more complex. Your service rules can be more complex, so that can come into play too as well. Sorry, but back to the point here. Building expense is the big number, and that's cost. The last one is under C. We're just going to look at the totals there of 57 against 54. There was kind of some classification problems there, and we're not sure we got it right. So we believe the other administration expenses of 42 may actually feed into professional fees and charges from sister organizations. So we're just going to look at the 57 to 54, and you're a little bit more expensive at $3. But in terms of summarizing the page, building expenses, you're more than double, and that's quite a big number. A little bit on the salaries and benefits, which we'll look at, and a little bit on the FTE. To the next page, please. As I mentioned.
Okay, so I'll take it from here, okay? So that was part of the model. There are other factors that we look at that are not part of the model, but we know that they have an impact on your cost. As Alan has mentioned, one of those things was economies of scale. Like clearly, more members means more dollars that you spread over a bigger base. Right? So your system actually had 20% fewer members than the peer average. So that means you have costs that are spread over a smaller base than your peers. So according to our updated research, This increased cost means a $15 disadvantage for you per member. Okay, so on the next page, page 8, we also look at cost environment. So here you see that you are above the peer average. So all the New York City funds are salaries or cost environment 6% higher than the peer average. So so you're among the bars on the left. Like really, New York City is definitely more expensive to live and work than Salt Lake City or Lapeer, South Dakota, Boise, Idaho.
Oh, really?
Okay, so the next slide will focus on the your service to members. So your total service score was 59, which was below the peer median of 74. So this is actually a high scoring service peer group. Oh, I should mention that this score is out of 100, so it's like a grade in school. Okay. Also, please here keep in mind that all of our service measures are from a member's perspective. So good service from a member usually means faster turnaround times, like more availability, more choice, and better content. Like for example, systems we find that often measure like turnaround times internally, like starting from a point when a system will receive all the necessary paperwork. Okay. However, from a member's perspective, turnaround time actually starts at the time that a member is asking for something, at a member's request. So in terms of say when a member has just retired, it doesn't matter how long paperwork takes or who's responsible. A new retiree only cares about getting paid on time. Sometimes this focus on a lot of attention on the overall service score, but you really want to pay attention to the areas that are most important to your members, and that can be quite different among systems. So I guess we're running out of time here, right? So I'll just quickly move to the next page. Okay, slide number 10. So these are the key measures that go into the service score. So here, a lot of commonality, like among peer groups in, like for DB pension funds, these are the things that all pension funds do. So you've done pretty well in like a number of the activities. Member contacts, like your telephone wait time is 19 seconds compared to a peer average of 44 seconds. Your call center is open longer than your peers, 55 hours versus 45 for your peers. There's pension inceptions, so you're able to pay 90% of your new retiree pension inceptions on time versus a peer average of 85%. One-on-one counseling, you counsel more than your peers. And also member statements. You're able to issue member statements on a more timely basis than your peers. But really what impacts you here, which has a lot of weight in our service score, is your website. You and one other system don't have secure member online access, which means a member being able to log in, seeing their own data, being able to create their own estimate, and other types of transactions. And the other thing that differentiates you is you don't send out newsletters to your members, either electronically or via paper. I think you're the only one in the peer group that doesn't do that.
So just to summarize, in terms of the service score, we ask a whole bunch of questions on service. We then weight those questions to come up with activities, and we weight the activities to come up with the service score. What's important, as Brenda has said, is the breakdown of the service score, but what's important is the interpretation. Our weights are an approximation of the importance of the service elements that we see across our client base. That does not mean that for each individual client, they're going to reflect the importance that you assign to them. So in this case, newsletters and websites, you're being punished as per the CEM methodology, but we'll leave that with the board and the management to decide how important that is. It's an important. Okay, next slide, please. So just in summary, we were only given 10 minutes. We've run 5 over already. Your cost is a little higher because of building expenses and your employee per 10,000 members is higher than the peer average, and then your service score is below, but primarily because of what we just said, your website and the newsletter. We'll now open up for questions.
Can I ask you, this is Joe Alejandro, can I ask you, did you take into account that a lot of members of the funds get pension information from their organizations that represent them? So for example, each union represented on the board usually provides information to the members regarding pensions, and I'll speak for my own organization. We do quarterly seminars with regards to pension information, which I'll say that the pension fund helps us tremendously in getting a lot of the information. So the members come out, sometimes anywhere up to almost 1,000 members on these quarterly seminars, and they get at least 3 hours of presentation with regards to every aspect of their pension, from disability to how we invest very, very quickly, to a lot of the legal aspects to the pension. Do you take that into account? And that way we're not also redoubling and of information going to these members, repeating a lot of the information with newsletters and other items.
Okay, yeah, so those numbers would be in the one-on-one counseling and probably presentations. Yeah, so it is a little bit different, right? It's definitely higher service. Like if you see somebody face to face, like as you talk, like through the unions, I have noticed this with all the New York City systems, that you have unions or other organizations that are giving your members a lot of information. Yeah, so that's one aspect of giving service. Face-to-face is definitely the best. The other aspect is newsletters for, like, I guess people, generally members that may not be able to come in or to see somebody face-to-face. There's not in terms of newsletters different, like through either electronically or paper, it's really up to you to determine whether that's needed for your members, right? If it's covered already through a lot of the associations that you've already mentioned, then this is, yeah, as you said, it could be a duplication or just something not that your membership doesn't value as much, and that's why you've taken this stance here.
Hi, Alan. This is John Doss over at the Controls Office. So I just want to understand something. So from the newsletter aspect, you're only speaking to the communications between the police pension fund and the member, not necessarily, not any of the other communications. A little bit different than Joe's. Yeah, a little bit different than Joe's point, but we are unique, as I think you found with many of the other systems. The health insurance piece for retirees and for active employees is run through OLR. It's not run through the pension funds. Every member that retires receives pension inserts with their pension checks, and those are things that are produced by any number of places. I know the Controls Office produces several a year that go out to members. So this just to be clear, only represents the direct communications between police pension fund and the members, not newsletters that they might be getting from other city entities that are covering a lot of the topics that other retirement systems may have to convey to their members. Is that a fair?
Yes.
Okay.
And we believe that's correct. We believe that's correct. I'll ask any of the management team there who completed the survey just to confirm that they only put in the police pension fund data there.
That's correct. We did not assume in our newsletter response any of the newsletters that go out from any of the other organizations, but we did include any of the support that we have for any of the union seminars that we support, or we also hold quite a few seminars directly on our own. Those numbers were included in all the results.
And I guess I just have one other question. As you correctly pointed out to any of us that live in the city here, the cost to do business in the city is much higher than everywhere else. On one of your earlier slides where you put the police pension fund against its peer group, if we were in an environment where we were paying what our peers were paying for real estate, what would that look like? And I think it's like chart 2 or 3, John.
You tell me when.
Not this one, the one, I believe, that one.
It will come down.
So one more up.
6?
I think it was
slide
for-
number 6, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be 6. John is moving at a rapid pace here, so keep going.
Up?
Yeah, up. Yeah. So on page, what page is it? 7 of 15.
So your total pension administration cost was 207. That's what it starts with.
Yeah. So the question is, if we were to bring that down, is it safe to say that we would be maybe a little bit? We certainly would be left of that. Would we be maybe the first of the tall ones?
Yes, can I direct you to page 6 where it says reasons why your total cost was above the peer average?
When?
And
There. Building expenses?
Yeah. So we've
look
dealt.
at
So
building yeah, if we take the building expenses out of that, that would be about 11,000, and that would drop. Well, actually, if we just take out the 123, the 17 becomes 7, and the 22 becomes 15. It'll add through to 26, not 41.
Thank you.
So that quantifies it for you.
Again, it's Joe Alejandro, and I just have a comment on the whole piece. It seems like everything is centered around building expenses predominantly. And as a comment, I'd like to say we are happy to take credit for the soaring prices in New York City as a result of all of the hard work of the public safety unions in the city. So we love it.
Okay, that's good to hear.
I don't think we have any other.
I have a question. When you're looking at our service score and you're talking about member satisfaction, was there a component here where you actually did speak to members, or was it only speaking to staff?
We do not members directly. We just send your management team a survey, and they complete that survey.
So just generally looking at this service score, which is not great, it looks like we're really being penalized for not having an online web presence, not having a newsletter. Would that be a fair characterization?
Yes. However, I will repeat that's as per our methodology. So we'll leave it to you in terms of we've already discussed that the unions are doing a lot. Comptroller's office sent some information out as well. So we're just capturing the pension fund information, and as per our scoring that we pass to all our clients. That's correct. Under our scoring methodology, your website and newsletters are letting you down.
So as a follow-up, as part of our technology upgrade, we are looking at doing more interactive, even mobile apps and things like that. How much are those efforts I'm assuming, would significantly improve this 59? Is that correct? Would that be a correct assumption?
That's a correct assumption.
Okay.
Yeah, without knowing what specifically is in your modernization project, that would definitely increase your score. At the same time, if it takes you 5 years to do it, obviously your peer group and others in the survey are going to be improving their scores as well.
Yeah, I have to make a comment that so a number of these tiers have been in this benchmarking exercise for a number of years now. So they've taken a number of years to improve their service score, improve their systems. We've gradually seen improvements in their service score, and it has taken a number of years to get there. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. So can I say?
Cindy, you had mentioned that you didn't get a copy of this. They had asked us not to hand it out, and apparently that's the norm with the system. So, we just went along with that. I don't think teachers gives it out until the day of. So if you wanted it in advance for next year.
It's just, I know I've been to these presentations, it's hard to follow,
Yeah.
for me with my eyes to follow those little numbers. It's always easier for me if I have hard copy to be able to read along.
You have a hard copy here.
That's because Nicole
Yeah,
gave it to me.
No, I know, I'm just saying that would have been.
Kevin, I just want to say that's the norm with a lot of things around here.
Yeah.
You can't get backup. So.
Yeah.
So in the future, we'll have it on the day of. I don't know why they want it done that way, but
Can't get the back.
just does.
But it would be nice, they do, when they're doing the
Gotta point it out when you see
they
it.
give half copies, because it's hard to read.
I do want to say that they were, unfortunately for us, they pointed out the obvious. It's expensive to work in the city, so
Right, and I want
there's
to
not a
point
whole
out,
lot you can do about that.
we have a lease
That's the biggest
until
expense, right.
2030, and we are the cheapest in the building, that's my understanding, so, where else are we gonna go,
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, no, there's Jersey, I heard, is cheaper, I heard. We could move there, right? No,
I heard Queens is really cheap.
Yeah, well, no.
I'm like,
I know we should do that, right?
Which neighborhood?
Hoboken is right there. I heard it's a little cheap now still. We might get a rock in there.
Rockland's cheap.
Rockland?
Anyway, all right, let's get it back on.
Yeah, Rockland's good.
You're gonna turn your house to commercial use?
Know that Novartis property is for sale.
Yeah, Nevada's a big area. It's cheaper.
Okay, so, thank you. And, moving along, Joe?
All right, pages 11 through 21. A memorandum regarding actions requested in conjunction with fiscal year 2018 transferable earnings from police to the Police Officer Variable Supplement Fund and PSOVSF. At this point, we got the memo, I believe, in last week, but because it was a holiday weekend in between, and there was some other events, we haven't been able to review the material completely, and we would like to table that till next month, where we will definitely have an answer.
Joe,
And a request, by the way.
Joe, just from a housekeeping standpoint, the Control's Office is happy to introduce those resolutions at the appropriate time after it's tabled, as the actuary is not a trustee on the retirement system, on the pension fund rather, so we'll be introducing those at the appropriate time.
At the appropriate time, and then I'll request a table there. I also will be sending, I believe, as part of the email, resolution, as we have requested in the past, for the backup data with regards to these memos. Yes, and I believe you all got it yesterday, right? So there'll be a resolution regarding attached, a formal resolution, and we'd like that data attached for next month's meeting.
Okay, we sent out an email yesterday, I'm assuming everyone got it, I know I missed the actuary's office, but everyone else got the email? Okay.
Yeah, so.
And then just procedurally, when does the money transfer over to the BSF on one action?
Yes, but it's a little bit after that, right? I think.
Well, I think by statute, correct me if I'm wrong, but by December 31st of the calendar year.
Usually mid-December, I think it gets transferred over, early December.
So if we address it at the November meeting, there won't be any problem with the money transfer over anyway. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so I'd like to table that matter and we'll go to pages 22 through 35. Memorandum also regarding estimate of police officers variable supplement fund, unfunded accrued liability and accumulated benefit obligation transfer cap as of June 30, 2018. I'd like to also table that till next month. And an ultimate memorandum, estimate of police superior officers variable supplement fund, unfunded accrued liability and accumulated benefit obligation transfer cap as of June 30, 2018.
So move.
Well, to the extent that it comes out of the police, I'd like to table that also. The next one. And finally, a discussion on securities litigation protocol.
I'll get Inga, just so you guys are aware, the resolution would take place in the public, and any questions you have for your counsel would have to be an attorney-client about the nature of the protocol.
Cynthia, you had questions, right? I was just looking about the process as to, who was interviewed, why people were excluded.
Would we need to go into attorney-client for that?
I don't know if Cynthia has
Yeah, probably should go into attorney-client.
So just requested.
Can we have a motion to go into attorney-client to discuss? Joe has some technical legal questions that we should be an attorney-client for.
Usually it's during the breaks.
Yeah, let's,
Motion to go into attorney-client.
Second.
okay.
All right.
So,
Hold on. All right, we are on, back in public.
Nicole?
During an attorney-client session, the Board of Trustees consulted with their statutory counsel regarding certain aspects of the securities litigation protocol, potential next steps for the future, as well as entertain questions pertaining to an RFP that was recently put out for securities litigation pool counsel. The board discussed several next steps, one of which would be the potential forming of a securities litigation subcommittee of the board, details to be made public at the appropriate time. They also discussed a motion that they would now like to discuss in public. Joe, I guess I'll turn that to you.
So, as a result of our discussions during attorney-client privilege, I would like to make a motion that we extend for 6 months the current securities litigation protocol retroactive to October 1st. And proceeding forward 6 months.
Second. Okay, second. Roy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. None opposed, thank you very much. Extended for 6 months. Okay.
Any fun yet, Zuby?
Any other business on the public?
Okay. So then I make a motion that we leave public session and go into executive session for purposes of discussing
We have a second?
disability.
Second, okay, thank you. All righty.